Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bet with Brit. I am your host, Brittany Chantel, and thank you so much for watching, listening, however you may be doing that. I truly do appreciate it as I'm starting to really get my feet wet with making more videos and feeling more comfortable in the camera. I really do appreciate the likes and comments on what I can do better, what content that you're liking that I'm doing. Connect with me. Let's talk about sports before the season gets started. Both seasons, because the Wnba starts May 14th, and you know the NFL, we're in the beginning stages of like volunteer workouts. So we haven't even scratched the surface of that. So we'll get a little bit more WNBA as the season is approaching pretty quick. And we have some headlining stories coming up with the WNBA, so I'll get into that. But before I do, let's switch over to the NFL really quick to talk about Kirk Cousins and how he tried to deny the fate that was upon him. To be quite honest, Kirk Cousins, I will give him, he is amazing during the regular season. It's just when it comes to the postseason, he doesn't really get the job done. But during the regular season, he is phenomenal. I mean, what he was doing with the Minnesota Vikings, even when Justin Jefferson was there, I mean, you have to give him credit. That's why he got the contract that he did. Also because just timing was right for him. It always seems to work out. Him and his agent, I mean, they always seem to work on a contract at the right time. When he was with the Commanders, his contract when he went to the Vikings, and then now he was really the best quarterback that was on the market at the time for free agency. Kirk Cousins was the best. He had the best numbers. You had Russ out there, but we don't even need to talk about Denver. And then Justin Fields. So Kirk Cousins seized up on a great opportunity, a 4-year, $180 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons. 50 million of it due at signing, and then the other 50 is guaranteed. So I will give that to Kirk Cousins. But one thing that he tried to, because it was two reasons why he made the decision to leave Minnesota and go to Atlanta. Reason number one was because Atlanta was guaranteeing more money than the Minnesota Vikings. And number two, the Minnesota Vikings informed Kirk Cousins that they were going to be selecting a quarterback high in the 24 draft. So the quarterback reason was the main reason why he decided to go to Atlanta. And lo and behold, they end up drafting Michael Penix with the 8th overall pick in the 2024 draft. The Minnesota Vikings ended up going number 10 and selecting J.J. McCarthy. But I don't think he really just wanted any quarterback competition. And the thing he wasn't avoiding ended up happening, because even with that 4-year deal, it gets really easy for Atlanta to get out of it after those 2 years. So we'll kind of see how this is going to go, but I think this is a great opportunity. Michael Penix doesn't have to rush and try to get out there like a lot of these other quarterbacks. Jaden McDaniels and Caleb Williams will obviously be starters, you know, once the season does begin. But in Michael Penix's case, he doesn't have to rush. He can be behind a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins, really embrace these new challenges of being in the NFL, because it's not, I mean, I've never made that transition, but from what I understand, it's a little bit of an adjustment, especially at the quarterback position. You have so much information to take in, and you have the weight of the team. You have to be a leader of men. So I think this is a great just kind of like guiding path for him to be behind Kirk Cousins. And, you know, if Kirk Cousins ends up balling out these next 2 years, he has amazing, you know, weapons. So I don't see how he could not. But if he doesn't, or unfortunately, God forbid, there happens to be an injury, they do have a quarterback that they did select high in the draft. So my wishes to Kirk Cousins, and happy birthday. If I'm not mistaken, his Michael Penix Jr.'s birthday was either today or yesterday. So happy birthday to him. And congratulations on this new journey. I really like Michael Penix Jr. I've only watched a couple of his games with Washington, but what I did watch, it was a quarterback that played really free. He's not afraid to throw the deep ball. He's able to recognize defenses and see if he needs to run and what have you, or slide. So I really did enjoy watching him, and I was so excited when that shot came, because I was not expecting that. You know, people kept bringing up his injuries and what have you. Quarterbacks get drafted after having major injuries all the time, so we're not going to use that on Michael Penix Jr. And I'm glad that Atlanta didn't. And he's in a new home with great weapons around him. So much love to him. Now, let's get into the amazing ladies of the National Basketball Association. The women, you know what I mean. I like to call them ladies because we just had our first preseason opener. As I'm recording this, it was last night. So the Chicago Sky played the New York Liberty, and it wasn't even close. Unfortunately, it wasn't close. Score was 101-53. The young bull, Angel Reese, was doing her thing. Ended up having 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist and 2 steals, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. So she did good. And people, you know, were trying to criticize her because the Bayou Barbie went to the Met Gala the night before and ended up showing up to the game and doing her thing. She only played 19 minutes, but, I mean, 13 points in 19 minutes with 5 rebounds. Okay, baby, you came to play. You came to show them. So, shout out to Angel Reese. Camila Cardoso wasn't there, so I don't know what's going on with that, but she did not play yesterday, but that didn't stop the Sky. That didn't stop them. It just wasn't, the New York Liberty just wasn't hitting anything. Sabrina Ionesco, she was 3 for 11. She only had 8 points. Breanna Stewart only had 5 points. So, and then their bench really wasn't doing much, as opposed to the Chicago Sky. I mean, everybody on the Chicago Skies that was coming off the bench, they scored. So, you can't win like that. And then also yesterday we had the Seattle Storm and the Mercury played. Seattle Storm won 85-59. So that's good. But you know how the preseason started. It's just the first game. Everybody's kind of just... And if you do not have a WNBA League Pass, please get that right now. It's only $31 for the season. Let's support these ladies. Let's support them. Continue to increase their numbers, because they're only going to get better. The more eyes that are on them, the more sponsorships that are going to come. And now we're seeing that they finally have they're working on getting them private charters for the whole season. It's a pretty hefty tab, $50 million, but for me it's worth it. You have these ladies that are 7 foot sitting in coach, you know what I'm saying, waiting, and then you have to go to these games. Sometimes they're back to back and you're in these cramped, you know what I'm saying, seats. Then you got to go to your hotel room. You can't relax. And then you're expected to play at a high level. No, we need to treat these ladies and put some respect on their name. They're professional players. So they should have been flying private, but this is a great step in the right direction. And I know that people are like, well, it's only because Caitlin Clark came out and said something about her experience with flying commercial that they did something. Well, let me tell you something. At first, I was a little uneasy, you know, all this attention that Caitlin Clark was getting, but she is helping the league at the end of the day. Let her, if she's helping bring people in, go on the court and bust her every time. Mix her up, you know what I'm saying? Do whatever it is on the court. But if it's helping getting eyes and seeing how great this game is, it's going to help everybody eat. And it's only going to get better. We have so many young ladies out of college that are going to be joining the league. They're going to bring new fans and new sponsorships. So I think it's a great thing. Angel Reese is doing her thing as she always has been. That is the Bayou Barbie, and she should stay with that. I know she was talking about changing it because she's in Chicago, but girl, you are the Bayou Barbie. Embrace it. Don't change it. And so that's great for the league. Shout out to them. My girl Asia Wilson, you know she is a little petty. She like, okay, I'm going to post a little screenshot that she posted on Instagram. But she's like, if y'all are going to come out with this article, at least make sure I'm on a private charter the next day. Because, I mean, they're headed to Puerto Rico because their first game is going to be in Puerto Rico. So they're flying to Puerto Rico commercial. She's like, if y'all are going to do this, well, we could have figured something out, because the only time you really had private for the WNBA was during the playoffs. Now, the Aces, they've been back-to-back, so they've, been able to fly private the, past 2 years. And the Liberty, you know what I'm saying, they were doing it, whatever. So, let's embrace this. However it may be, you know what I mean, new faces and new fans, welcome, because I am one of them. I will watch the WNBA from, time to time, like little games, but I really, really fell in love with the Aces last year. So I'm excited. I know that they're going to be coming here and playing against the Mercury. Best believe I'm going to be at that game. So I am really excited for all the ladies around the league to get their just due, because it is due. Okay? And then in other news and WNBA, amazing news that Candace Parker became the president of Adidas women's basketball. So shout out to the newly retired GOAT that got a new opportunity. I believe that she's still going to be doing her commentating. Like sometimes she's on TNT. So I think that will be... Somebody's probably coming in here. So I think that'll be great for her. So shout out to Candace, and wishing you a happy and blissful retirement and next chapter to an amazing basketball icon. So shout out to Candace. And the last thing, which it kind of popped up. I didn't really have this on here, but as I'm about to record this video, it pops up, and the headline says, a writer won't cover the Fever in person after Caitlin Clark interaction. So apparently this happened, it was a press conference that happened shortly after Caitlin Clark was selected #1 overall in the 24 WNBA draft. And she was asked, a columnist that works for the Indianapolis Star asked her, if you're familiar, a lot of people are familiar with Caitlin Clark, and she, at the end of the game, she'll kind of do like a heart sign to her family, and just kind of say like, I love you and what have you. And the guy, Greg Boyle, I believe that's how you say his last name, Greg Boyle, so he's doing the heart, you know what I'm saying, to her as she's standing up at the podium. And so she responds, I'll read to you what is in the ESPN article. I want to okay. Substance. So Caitlin Clark responds after he gives a heart sign and says, you like that? And so he says, I like that you're here. I like that you're here. And she responds, yeah, I do that to my family after every game, so pretty cool. And he responds, well, start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So after that interaction, people on social media kind of thought it was awkward, inappropriate, and creepy a little bit. And so he ended up apologizing on social media and doing a column apologizing, in which he basically said at first he was kind of like in denial, and then he was angry, and then once he realized like, no, I'm on the wrong side of this, then he acknowledged like, yes, I was wrong, and completely wrong. So he will not be covering, he will still be covering the Fever, but he just won't be covering them in person. So I'm assuming he'll be watching the games at home, but how does that work with like press conferences and stuff like after, how does that work? So we'll see how that goes, but they might as well, you're not going to be able to cover in person. I mean, I don't know how many writers they have for the Indianapolis Star, but somebody else that can be there and do the job should be there. Personally. So yeah, that was a quick synopsis of today for the top stories around the WNBA and the NFL. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode. I know we're not doing any betting right now. The NBA, I will be doing like some placing some bets kind of once we get into the season. But just kind of like the NFL, I kind of I don't bet on preseason, and even the first 2-3 games. 2 to 3 games I don't bet. I just kind of watch and see like how what do they do on first down? What do they do on second down? What do they do in the red zone, in the goal? All that stuff is important. So I kind of pay attention to that going into preseason, and then the first couple games start of the regular season, and then we'll kind of get our bets rolling that way. The WNBA is a little bit different. They'll have like more games, and but even still, I'm kind of still getting my feet wet with the WNBA, so I won't probably be doing a lot of betting with the WNBA. I'll be really just doing more studying on my end, and then just kind of reporting on current games that's going on and like breaking news. But the NFL, I will definitely be doing bets once we get started with the regular season, so make sure to turn on your post notifications so you guys are locked in with me. And again, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.